it's boring, eh? Kenya ni form, you know, activities, traveling, seeing, you know, tembea Kenya and all of that. Tell me why I should not actually pack up and go back home, because now as we speak, Kenya people are just living their lives. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Martha. In case you're new here, please do subscribe to this channel. It's a beauty and lifestyle channel. I am a mom of two, a 3-year-old, well 3.5, and one almost 6 months old. Like, oh my god, where is the time? Like, where does the time go? I just gave birth to him and he's literally almost 6 months old. It's like crazy. So yeah, let us talk about it, right guys, because it's been insane. I don't know if you are among us, I mean us, we women who gave birth or were pregnant in the year 2020, 2021. It's been so crazy, guys. Let's just talk about it because it's not been normal, okay? So when I gave birth to my daughter, who is now 3.5, at that moment I was like, due to the experience of birth, because, well guys, that thing is painful, okay? So after that experience I was like, dude, I can't give birth again. But I mean, with time we come to forget all this pain and all of that. Like, after you get the baby, it's like the best feeling in the world, and with time you forget how painful it was, and then you get ready for another one. I know there are other women who are so traumatized, like many years later, that they're not ready for another child, and that's okay. I mean, take your time. These things they are personal and individual, guys, at your time. So me personally, when like Jazzy, like that's my firstborn, Jazzy was almost 3 years, I was like ready. Yeah, so I got pregnant again, or rather we got pregnant again with now our son. Thank God, a son. Sooner than later, well, the pandemic hit, guys. So what happened is I realized that I was pregnant earlier in the year 2020, and so I was like, because I was working, I think 50% by then or a bit more, I can't remember. So I was thinking, you know how it works here in Germany, like the money that you get during your parental leave depends on how much you were earning in the last 12 months. So you get an average of the last 12 months earning, and then you get like 65% or 67% of the average that you get from the 12 months prior of payment. So of course I had to try and like up my earnings, so I decided to work more. Okay, so I decided to work more, so I added my working hours just to improve the cash that I was gonna get during my parental leave. But I still had a lot of holiday, because when you're on parental leave, you still have your holiday, your vacation days that you're supposed to take. So I still had my holiday, like my vacation days, from Jazzy's parental leave, because normally when you go back to work after the parental leave, which I did after Jazzy, normally when you get back you can decide if you want to take your holiday before you like start working, in case maybe you're taking your child for childcare, then you can be able to nurture the baby, or rather be with the baby and get the baby used to daycare while you're still at home. Because if you take your child and your child is like not accustoming, or your child is not getting used to it quite quick enough, they can call you back anytime, and you cannot like do that when you're working. So the best thing to do is to be home, so that like, yeah, the baby transitions easily into school. Yeah, anyway, point is I still had my vacation days from Jazzy's time, because I went to work like abruptly. I didn't like take my holiday before like starting working. I just started immediately after she turned 1 year. Okay, so well, she didn't go to childcare yet. We took care of her here at home. We just had to plan our working hours, you know, properly, like Jay and I. So we still took care of her here at home for like I think another 6 months. Yeah, so I had those days, so I took them in February. So otherwise they were going to expire. If I did not take them this year, they were going to expire I think by March. So I decided to take them in February. There were so many days. There were like 50 something days. Imagine, like crazy. That's like many vacation days. So I decided to go home because it was like winter. I'm home, there's nothing I'm doing. I'm so crampy from my like pregnancy. It was crazy. Yeah, so I decided to go home. So and then I took my daughter off childcare, and then we went home. Also, a family member had undergone surgery, so I was thinking let me just go home and then see this person and be with my people and everything. It would also like do me good. Why should I like be here and be stuck in the house and it's winter and I'm not even feeling it? So I went home, guys. Hey, you guys know that this story of the pandemic had started like in 2019. Yeah, it started like actually 2019, like in Wuhan, and then you started hearing like, yeah, it's crazy in the airports, and oh my god, it has reached here, it's now in Germany. And then so before my holiday, I remember going to the chemist, and then I asked at the chemist if they have masks. Yeah, I need to buy masks because I'm traveling home and I'm scared and everything. Do you know what they told me? It's useless to buy a mask because you're going to have to, for it to protect you properly, you'd have to exchange the mask every 15 minutes. Imagine 15 minutes. How many hours are we flying? Like from Germany to Kenya, that's like, depending on the flight you find, sometimes like 8 hours to several other hours. So how many masks would I need? So she told me it's useless, like really. And true to her words, while I was traveling, nobody was actually wearing a mask. Yeah, it was just really, it was normal. It was normal. People were like acting normal. Anyway, so I went home and I was happy to be home. At home, life was as usual. Like, okay, life was so as usual. I had like 6 weeks to be home, the whole of February, and I think up to mid-March. Up to mid-March. So I was supposed to come back in Germany in mid-March. And you know, guys, what happened is like COVID seriously hit, I think, from March. And especially in Germany, the rates, like the numbers were shooting up like crazy. So lockdown happened. I was locked down in Kenya. Guys, being locked down in Kenya, I am pregnant. I cannot attend my clinic. Remember, I'm still pregnant. I cannot attend my clinic. One time, because like I was not feeling the baby, I decided to go to the clinic. And guys, that's another story. Like the medical care in Kenya needs to improve. Seriously, okay? Like you go there, okay, you know, like I am a nurse. I am used to a different kind of healthcare system here in Germany. So you go to the clinic and you're like, I need a scan, please, because I cannot feel my baby. So I went to a clinic in Kiambu, somewhere in Kiambu. I went to a clinic. I'm not going to mention the name. So as I was like there at the information desk, I was asking, well, I think it was a lady. So she told me to pay like 2K. Was okay. I paid the 2K, and then I asked her how long I was going to wait because the person who was doing the scan is not in. So I asked, is that a doctor? Normally here, the clinic we attend, we go to the gyna, and it's the doctor who examines you, does the scan for you and all of that. So I asked, is that the doctor who is going to scan me? Then she said no, it's just, yeah, I don't know, like a scan person. I don't know what, guys, let me know what they call them back in Kenya. I don't know what they call these people. But yeah, it was a guy who was just doing the scan, and he was not there, he was out for lunch. So I was linking in this clinic, and people actually come to give birth. Do you know what I asked her? I asked her, in case of an emergency, is there anyone who is actually here to oversee things? Is there a doctor actually? Is there a gyna? Then she told me, yeah, we have a gyna, comes from outside, and then she tried to actually reach him, and she could not reach him. So I was like, damn, imagine like it was a real emergency, because there are even inpatients here and there's no doctor. Just imagine if there was actually an emergency, where would they get a doctor from? That is so risky. So wow, like I was speechless. Anyway, I went for my scan after the guy came back from lunch. I don't know how long we waited. So I did my scan, and luckily it's just that the pregnancy was kind of like early on. That's why I could not feel the baby, but I was just genuinely scared. I just needed to know that the baby is fine. You know, here in Germany we go to clinics really like so often, so being home and having not checked up on my pregnancy and my baby, it had me kind of like nervous and anxious. So yeah, he told me everything is fine and everything, so I was glad. Now that was that scan. After that scan, I think I went to Mombasa, yeah, to my other family. So I went to Mombasa. I was there for some time. We did like a whole, it was fun, like weddings, Swahili weddings. My very first time to attend a Swahili wedding. It was beautiful. A whole new experience. Amazing. So after that, I went back home, because now I had like, I think a week and a half to get ready, pack my stuff, and then go home. Guys, lockdown happened. So where my parents live, because I was at my parents' house, where my parents live is I'm not going to say where it is. I know so many people know this here on this channel, but I could not go into even Kiambu town, yeah, which is like the next nearest small city town, bigger town next to our home. So the lockdown happened between. It was like we could not even cross over to Kiambu. We could not go to Nairobi city. Yeah, so kind of like counties had been like lockdown anyways. So there was lockdown in Kenya and in Germany, okay? Cases, there was still a possibility for me to travel back, but like 2 days, I think 2 days before my flight is when I got an email from my airline, and they said that the flight has been cancelled because of COVID. Yeah, okay. I was still not panicking, because I'm telling myself, here in Kenya the cases are very minimal. In Germany, on the other hand, it's crazy. They are competing with Italy like this. I was like checking the cases every day, and I was panicking. I was like, my good God, please just protect Jay wherever he is, protect my people, my friends here. Like, I was literally scared for people who were here in Germany. I was like, gosh, maybe I'm safer here, because back home we live in the land, yeah. So we are not like directly in the city, obviously. So I was like, here nothing can happen to us. Like, my dad is not working, he's retired. My mom is like, schools have closed, so she's not working as well, so she's back home. Who is going to bring us COVID here? Nobody. We are just safe. I was like thinking the whole time, we are safe here. Going to Germany is even more risky. I'm pregnant, I have Jazzy, Jay is working in the hospital, so it's risky, you know. And then I was thinking of the airport, guys. I was thinking of the airport. You have a 3-year-old, not even, she wasn't even 3 years old yet. I was thinking now, going with her to the airport, she will not leave her mask on the whole time, and then you cannot tell her not to hold things and hold that because she's a kid. So protecting her from all these germs and dirt is close to really impossible in the airports and on transit. So I was thinking, no, let me just stay here. I'm going to like transfer. Like when they open up again, I can reschedule my flight. Hey, where things were getting even more fire, no, like lockdown was getting even more serious. Now cases started rising in Kenya. I was only supposed to go home for until March, mid-March. I stayed home literally February, March, April, 3 months home. Like, whoo. I have never stayed in Kenya so long since I came to Germany in 2010. I've never been so long in Kenya, up to a point where I was like, okay, you know, Kenya, it's different. It's different. In Kenya, you just need to be up and about. But now being locked down in Kenya, it's different. It's boring, guys. It is boring. If you've never tried it, it's boring. Kenya ni form, you know, activities, traveling, seeing, you know, tembea Kenya and all of that. It was really tricky. I'm telling you, it was tricky. Like some days I was just staying in the bedroom and just not leaving because like it was just crazy. Sometimes I was just telling my mom, we just need to go shopping because it's just I can't tolerate another day inside, you know. So I was just telling my mom, let's just go, okay? Let's just drive. Just as long as I get out of this gate, let's get out because I'm going insane. Imagine the kids have no, like, luckily, my sister's child was home, and so like Jazzy at least had that contact with the baby. Otherwise, she would just have been home with no babies to play with no, like. So February, March, April, I returned in May, and that was a fight. Like finding a flight to come back was insane. Now I was starting to worry because I was thinking, gosh, this pregnancy is huge. Remember, I only attended one clinic like this, one clinic in all this time, and that's unheard of when you're in here. You have to go to do your clinics. There's some things that we missed. And of course, I was worried also about the baby. And now during this COVID time, especially in Kenya, it was the healthcare system had become even worse. Like when you have other issues, other conditions, getting treatment was a hassle. I swear, it was such a hassle. Like almost even impossible. Like you would go with a problem and then be sent back home. So I was imagining, if I have to give birth in this place, and then anything happens, it's tricky. So if anybody, you know, gave birth around this time in Kenya, respect, and I thank God for your life and I thank God for your baby because it was insane. So I was like, I just need to go back because I need to like attend my clinics. I was even calling my doctor from home, my gyna, and then I was telling him, oh my God, now I'm stuck here and actually I'm supposed to be going back to work. What do I do? So the doctor had to actually write me a letter of like kind of like I cannot go to work because I need to show a letter. Why can't I be at work? So they actually my workplace, because of course they knew I was pregnant by then, they issued me a letter of Febot, something like Febot, I don't know what you call it, like restriction letter. I'm not supposed to go to work because of the risk. As a pregnant woman, I should not be there at work because it's a high risk job and I'm pregnant. So they actually wrote me a letter. The gyna wrote me a letter, and my workplace also gave me a letter. But I was still supposed to come back and report to work. We found, luckily, like it was a long story. I'm sure if you guys have watched my videos when I was coming back to Germany during the lockdown, it was crazy and insane, and even finding that repatriation flight was close to impossible, and it was hard, it was difficult, but we managed, and we paid a very heavy fine, like we paid for myself and Jazzy, we paid like 3K 3,000 euros. That's like 300,000 Kenya shillings, like over 300,000 Kenya shillings for the flight to come back to Germany. That money, hey, it was painful because that's a lot of cash. Remember, I had already paid to and fro for my flight, and the fact that now my flight to come back was cancelled meant I had to find another flight, and there were no flights going because of the lockdown and all of that. So you had to actually like contact the embassy to kind of like connect you back, and it was not possible if you actually do not have a visa, because now the embassy is actually closed from appointments and stuff. So it's only like yeah, it was hard, but anyway, like I said, it worked in the end, and then I came back to Germany. Now you know, there's some things that you do when you're pregnant, like you go to massages, you go to, you know, you do stuff like baby moon, you do stuff like, well, clinics, which are like pretty much obvious. There, you know, we go visit friends, you go, I don't know, you see places, you know, you go shopping. All of this was not possible because of this whole pandemic issue. I did not attend any massage, and I really wanted to. Like, I really would have loved to. Like, my psyche to go shopping went from I love shopping, I used to love shopping, went from like up there to basement. I was not even interested to shop anymore. Even like you guys saw, if you watched my videos, you saw that actually it's my sister in the US who shopped for my son's clothes. Yeah, everything was pretty much spoiled. There was no you know, there's this course that you can do. It's called bathing course, I think. You know, the one where you go to get prepared to give birth. Yeah, that one. You must not do it if it's the second time, but you can actually do it if you want. So there was nothing like that. There was just nothing. Yeah, so like the whole pregnancy was spent somewhere indoors, and yeah, it was not cool. It was not cool. Like, it was a very weird time to be pregnant, to be honest. And the way this year looks like, it seems like it's still going to happen. Like, we've been here, like here in Germany, we've been in lockdown, I think, since December. Was it December or November? We've been back in lockdown since November. It's now been extended up to like mid-February. Guys, Valentine's Day is going to be spent indoors. Tell me why I should not actually pack up and go back home, because now as we speak, Kenya, people are just living their lives, you know. And here in Germany, we are not even allowed to meet another family. How are we supposed to survive indoors? Especially like me, like with 2 kids. You have no family. You have like, you're mostly just indoors with your kids. I don't know, like that lack of contact can actually make you go wahala. You can just lose your mind, and it's just insane. Now, when I came back in mid-May, I had like May, June, July. I had like 2.5 more months to go and until birth. So also something else, you know, like here in Germany, families are quite close knit. I don't know if it is because like these, yeah, people are kind of like live by themselves. Like a family is like they are just by themselves, and you know, like people do not like interact too much here. So when it's like a family, they're just closely knit and yeah, just cute. People go to works together, people go to shopping together, people do just a lot together. Yeah, so even here, like all of my clinics, I think with Jazzy, we went together with Jay. Even the first few clinics that I attended before like COVID happened, Jay was always there until now. The pandemic came and then they restricted, so we were not allowed to take our partners along anymore. So yeah, partners were just supposed to look at the pictures that we brought them home. But when I came back, because they really sympathized with my situation, they allowed like one clinic visit with him. So we were given an appointment where there were no other clients in the whole of the office. So we went and he was allowed to come in, and I was also allowed to take Jazzy along. So we were like there, and then we were seeing our baby. Oh my god, it was so emotional, guys, because I had not seen the baby for like months. Yeah, since February, and here we have May, and this is the time I'm seeing like my baby on the scan again. Since it was just so emotional and amazing. And I was also glad I was able to share that moment with Jay, because he had also longed so much he had missed a lot. Honestly, he had missed so much. Yeah, even when we were like back home, it's like Jazzy who used to take some oil and like massage my belly, which is actually Jay's job, kinda. Yeah, anyway. So I attended the rest of the clinics by myself, and then now came to where you find a hospital to give birth. Yeah, you have to find a hospital to give birth and like call them, make an appointment. So going for the appointment, also we were not allowed to take our partners. So you were supposed to carry your big belly and go and register at the hospital by yourself. Then you get to the hospital, you of course you enter with your mask. They have to confirm at like the door upstairs if or not you have an appointment. And then when you get there, there's like obviously there's someone there at the door who is like verifying why you're actually coming to the hospital. Do you have a reason to be here? Blah blah blah. They also give you a new mask, so you throw the mask you're wearing away. You wear the new mask. You now enter and go to your appointment. So you go to the appointment, and then so they told me that I should come back. I should come back after, I think, 1 week after the date of birth, in case the baby has not yet arrived by then. So there was the date of birth. They said I'm supposed to even if the baby has not yet come, I should still go to my gyna, to the clinic, to my gyna's office until like I think 5 days after the date of birth, because then they would have to induce me and stuff like that. But before that, I can still go and see my gyna. Like, I should not necessarily go to the hospital. It was crazy. So true to their words, guys, my pregnancy exceeded the date of birth. And okay, so I was also worried about who was going to come. So the other worry that we actually had is whether or not we were allowed to take our partners along to give birth. Well, I think one of the scariest things is giving birth by yourself. It doesn't matter who you take along. Some people take their mom, people take their best friends, some people take their sisters. Most people here take their partners. So there was also that worry of whether or not you're going to give birth by yourself or not. I know that there are some countries where they actually had to do it by themselves because nobody else was allowed in. And I also know that there are some people who actually were only allowed like the birth partner to be there for just the birth, and then an hour after birth, and then they have to leave until the mother and child are ready to be discharged from hospital, and then they come pick them up on the day of on the day that they were going to be discharged. That is kind of crazy, So what happened in my case is we were allowed to actually to bring our birth partners along. In my case, Jay came along. So Jay is the father of my children, so he was allowed to come with me. But so on the day that I actually went in to give birth, he came alongside me, he went with me, and he stayed with me throughout. And even after the baby was born, because the baby came like in the evening, he stayed up to close to midnight, he stayed up to close to midnight, and then after that he went, and then he could visit me every day after that until the day we got just discharged. So that was also possible. The other thing that I know maybe interests some people is whether or not you get your own room, yeah, after birth. So what happened in my case is, of course, in the maternity ward, you obviously have your own room, and then I personally went to the theater, unfortunately, and that is a story for another day. I ended up in the theater. So obviously I'm not gonna be in a theater with other patients, so I was by myself. In the birthing room also was by myself. Like, okay, not by myself, like alone, like me, Jay, and my maternity nurse, and the doctors and whatever and whatnot. Okay, so yeah, once after like giving birth and now going to a normal station, so I was put in a room with another woman who had also just given birth. So no, you're not going to get a room by yourself. In case you're worried about COVID, they did a test. Okay, you know what? Actually, when you go to give birth, they take your COVID test then. In my case, I don't know what happened. The lady, my nurse told me she had like felt pity on me for some reason. It's not like I was dying, guys, but the COVID test was done after the baby was born. Okay, so that is what happened. Usually they do it before you give birth, before you even do anything. When you enter the maternity ward and you know you're there to give birth, they do the COVID test just to be safe. I don't know why they were willing to risk with me, but they did. They risked. They did not test me anytime. Even Jay was, guy, they did not test Jay until also like way later. Come to think of it, that's so risky. So remember, guys, I told you that I had to go to the theater. So the doctors or all the nurses and the doctor, they were just dressed normally, like normal operation gear. They were not dressed in any like crazy COVID gear. No, they were just dressed kind of like normally, to my surprise. Okay, it did not bother me at that time because I had other serious worries, in my opinion, but they did not wear all that COVID gear while they were operating on me or attending to me. I personally ended up staying in the hospital for another almost week with my son, for also reasons that I'm not going to mention in this video. But and then my son was in the children department, so I used to like walk to his ward. From the women's ward, I used to walk all the time, like with my wound, I used to walk there. So in that ward, they were actually taking much more precautions. You had to like disinfect your hands before entering the ward. The ward was closed up. Every child had their own rooms, huge. It was actually sad because such a tiny little baby in a whole entire room, it was a bit too much. But anyway, I think it was better anyway because of safety. So you had to disinfect your hands. You always had to have a mask, and no person who had no business doing in that, like, you know, being in that ward was allowed to enter that ward. So at least there we saw that they were serious. Also, we were supposed to wear masks all the time. The only place that I was allowed to remove my mask was in the bathing room and the theater. I did not have my mask on, but everybody else had their mask on the whole time, including Jay. In the rooms where you were in the room with your fellow mom, you know, nursing your baby and all of that, we were not wearing masks in the room, but the moment we leave the door to be in the corridors or maybe going to the common kitchen and all of that, we were supposed to wear our masks. So yeah, so that was actually a very weird time to be pregnant and to give birth, because even after birth you cannot meet with other cute babies, you cannot do any rebuilding. There's a course that you can do after giving birth which helps you like put your body back in order, because birth is a whole, it's a whole, it's a whole other thing. Only people who have given birth can understand what I mean. So there's a course you can do to kind of like bring your body back together, and that was also not possible because pandemic. And here we are still again. Our children always have to see people wearing masks. So if you cannot teach your children at home how like different grimaces, different facials, your baby is just going to know people. I only see people's eyes, if so. Oh, but you know what? One positive thing about this giving birth around this time is you no longer have people trying to reach in the baby cots, to see the baby, or rather, put their faces in the baby cots to see the baby, or people asking to touch your baby. That is one thing I'm like, guys, I want to know your experiences being pregnant and giving birth in 2020, 2021. Let me know how it was for you, and let's discuss in the comment section. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. In case you haven't, please subscribe to my channel because it's about to get lit. Okay, let's talk. Let's just be mothers in peace on this channel. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.